What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Doubling Down with Colin Sheehan and Vinny Blonde right here on Trust the Profits YouTube and on Nesson Nation. Vinny, it was great to see you up at Saratoga this weekend. It feels like the summer now when Whitney is over. You start to feel like the summer is on the decline. But
Yep.
it feels like the last time we did this show was weeks ago because of how much racing and how much great racing we had over the course of Whitney weekend. Saturday was unbelievable. The weather was perfect. The fields were incredible. The crowd was awesome. We had some winners together. We had some losers. Most notably, Ragtime was the one I really needed to get
Yeah.
home, and you as well.
Yeah.
But what were your overall thoughts of Saturday up at Saratoga?
It was a great day of racing. A lot of results that I didn't think any of the results honestly were like far-fetched to get to. You just had the structured tickets right. Fortunately for us, at least for me, yeah, Ragtime losing really hurt. That was it looked like she was home and she got caught late. And then, I mean, when they turned for home in the Whitney, it looked like Fierceness was just going to open up on him, and then he just kind of stopped. That was unexpected. Sierra Leone, the next logical choice, picks up the pieces and wins, and a hard-fought win over Highland Falls. But yeah, Fierceness just kind of stopping at the top of the stretch was not really what I expected, because that race kind of played out the way I thought it would. There was some cheap speed in the race. He sat behind him by a few lengths. He made a big move. He took the lead. He turned for home with a 3-length lead, and then just didn't move. Very odd. We've seen him do that before. It was kind of reminiscent to his Derby trip, if I'm being honest, where he took the lead, turned it for home in the Kentucky Derby, and then he just stopped, and it was like the same thing. It was very weird. Interested to see where he comes back. Sierra Leone clearly the leader in that clubhouse at the moment, in my opinion, for the older division. I know Mindframe beat him, but the Whitney's worth more than the Stephen Foster, in my opinion.
Yeah, when Fierceness broke out, I remember tapping whoever's standing next to me, and I said, "Oh, this could be over," because the first thing we were concerned about is the trip for Fierceness. Is he going to get out into the clear? He got out into the clear, went into the first turn with the lead. And at that point, you kind of think, well, if he runs the way he's supposed to run, this is all set. And then he goes around the second turn, and you're kind of at that point thinking it's still going to play out that way. And then, as you said, just really had nothing down the stretch, and then became a very exciting rendition. And a little pat on my back. I know we haven't gotten some winners home the last couple of weeks, but Highland Falls was a horse who I had put on my ticket. At least had talked about on the Equibase. I'm not sure if I'm doubling down. I get my podcast mixed up, but on one of them I had given
Yeah,
Holland Fowles.
you used him on your ticket. You singled Ragtime, and then you went I believe you went
Yeah.
3-9. Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
It was a great call. Like, horse ran absolutely great. Just unfortunately lost to a better horse. But yeah, that was two tough races in a row in reality. That turning for home in the test too. I mean, Ragtime sat the trip. She tipped out at the right time and got caught in the last 50 feet. It was just like, oh, that sucks. And then Fierceness turns for home. It looks like he's gonna pull away. Nothing. It was like it was just two of those things where like the horses got the trips that we envisioned, and half is luck. You need the racing luck, and we just did not have it last weekend.
Yeah, we did a little bit earlier. If you watched me on the Equibase podcast, I had Deterministic and World Beater, two horses who I thought had a big effort. Deterministic, exciting to see Kendrick Carmouche, who we absolutely love up at Saratoga. He's a crown favorite. There's some great videos going around of him behind the scenes. So those were two big races as well. What do you think about Deterministic?
Yep. He looked great. I mean, he's the best. He's the best mile turf horse in the U.S. in my opinion. It really just depends on who they ship over from Europe for the Breeders' Cup. I mean, I don't think there's anything that's too scary to him in the U.S. that he hasn't faced before. The Chad Brown horse that came in second is a very interesting horse who I don't think they've quite figured out the distance for. I think he could either stretch out or he could run back at the mile distance. One to keep an eye on at a price, because that horse ran big too. But I mean, Deterministic, another one who got like an absolutely beautiful. I think I remember after the first quarter, I looked at you and I'm like, we bet Deterministic. Like, this is the best scenario. He had cheap speed out in front of him and he had the pocket trip. It was like, you couldn't have drawn it up any better. But he looks great. He looks absolutely great. Excited this going forward as well. I'm sure they'll make it to the Breeders' Cup with him.
Well, we turn our attention towards this weekend. We'll stay at Saratoga. We have the Sword Dancer, Grade 1, another Breeders' Cup win and you're in. This is for the Breeders' Cup turf. Field of 9. And we're going to use this as our first leg of our daily double. Sometimes we do the big races leg 2. I thought maybe in the second leg we could find some prices and hopefully we could put something together here for you. We've been in a little bit of a cold stretch. Before we get into this, on the right side there is the play along QR code. We have a doubling down app. We're 55% full. We have a $50 gift card as a prize for the month of August by our partners DGen Design. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. They got some great merch that we've teamed up with them on. Really excited to have this partnership, and now we have some prizes that are worth some money. And congratulations to Michael Myers, who won last month's contest. He will get the formulas picks for Travers Day week, the entire week. You can get those picks as well by checking out the description of the video over here on YouTube. Vinny, Grade 1, Sword Dancer, 1.5 miles on the inner turf, a class rating of 115 with Equibase. We return with Farbridge and Nation's Pride, kind of the two you always feel to see sign up against each other. I think you have to kind of start there in constructing your ticket and then deciding where you're going to go. What did you do to start off your ticket?
Yeah, I mean, the Appleby the last few years at Saratoga has been great. His horses, they show up pretty much every time. Nation's Pride, in my opinion, I kept him on the ticket because he kept Buick on. His last few races have not been great. And this is a big class drop for him after his last couple of races, and that's why I kept him on the ticket. I'm hoping he can return the form, but boy, his last couple have been very, very rough in my opinion. I don't love him. I mean, even the win in Maidan didn't look like the same horse. He was not a great field. He ran back to that effort, in my opinion, in the Dubai turf where he just did not do much running. But against American turf horses, I think that's more than good enough to win, which is why I included him. I also included the other Appleby as well. The one, I feel like I'm gonna butcher that name.
El Cordobés, the Irish horse.
The only American jockey that I feel like in the last couple of years that has been winning, that wins on Appleby horses, so I am completely okay with Pratt taking this mount. One of my big angles the last few years is when Appleby was sending these horses over and Buick wasn't shipping. I was betting against them, and out of 10 times I was right. Pratt, I believe it was what's the horse's name? It's Silver something.
Silver Knot.
Yes. Pratt won like 3 races in the US with Silver Knot, and I think that horse had never won here basically until that point. So I completely trust Pratt on these Appleby horses. I'm hoping that they both stay in, and I'm hoping Farbridge stays in because I think we will get a little bit of a price on them because I think Farbridge is the fan favorite. You know, he gets bet every time, so we might actually get close to these morning lines on these two horses.
I just have a problem. You basically touched upon it. Nation's Pride is not consistent enough for me to want to include on my ticket. If I'm going to include Nation's Pride,
yep,
I'm concerned. I don't see any works on the sheet either. So
yeah,
they don't. April 5th, and they might not show up here on these for me.
Yeah, if he works overseas, they won't show. They don't show. So like, unless he's got to work over the Saratoga track, they won't show up on there.
Yeah, I was searching for some. I couldn't find them. But anyways, the inconsistency is what I was concerned about. And yep. I just felt like I'm going to get a much more consistent effort from Farbridge. Last
Yep.
year's winner of this race. Class is there. Speed figures are there. Miguel Clement has not missed a beat taking over for his father. Joel Rosario is the normal jockey aboard Farbridge. Yes, I'm taking the favorite. I have a price I'm going to add with Farbridge because I'm not 100% confident that this is a single. I actually single in the next leg, surprisingly enough. I'm going to try and start making my tickets a little bit shorter. We've been missing on a cold streak. I feel like hitting a nice short ticket is what it takes to get you back going on the right direction. So Farbridge is absolutely going to be on the ticket for me. Not for you though.
No, he's on my ticket. I singled in the next race too, but I singled what should be a price in the next leg. So I felt like I could use Farbridge. In my opinion, with these turf races, at least especially the routes, the class usually wins. I feel like some of these longer shots, they look okay on paper, stepping up in class, but at the end of the day, like, if Farbridge runs his race, I feel like there's only two horses in the race who can beat him, and they're the two Applebys if they run their race. So I'm also using Farbridge. The other one I'm going to use, just because I feel like I always use him because he's a price, is the 7 El Razine for Pletcher. I used him last time on this show in the Bowling Green. He ran second that day to Farbridge. I thought it was a good effort. I think this horse wants to go 12 furlongs. I just don't know how good he is going like against top company. I think this will be a big test with two like 1 caliber Euros in the field. It will be a big test, but I know I have no issues with this horse going 12 furlongs. So I thought at a price he should be a price. I mean, he should be double digits, which is why I also added him, because I think this horse is better than that. But I won't be shocked if he comes up third or fourth. But for a double ticket where I'm single, I got a decent price, I think, in the next leg that I really like. I thought he was worth an add.
Todd Pletcher won the Sword Dancer back in 2006. The question mark I wrote on this horse was class. Just wondering, grade 2 and grade 3 here on the paper. A third and a second. Does have the coupled speed figures of 107 right here with the last two. So absolutely a possibility for another step forward there for this horse sired by English Channel. Vinny, I saw your ticket and we agreed on a little bit of a long shot that I'm going to use. Vote no, number 3. Kendrick Carmouche, my buddy, has absolutely been on fire with some of these turf races lately. So we'll include Kendrick on the ticket. We have a little alert there for you. There's the fireworks for doubling down on Carmouche. So there you go, a little bit of that. But this horse had a lot of trouble in the last race. Bumped start, was really had between horses on the backstretch, ran into a lot of traffic. And I think that effort last time out against Redistricting, who's a solid horse, is a lot better than maybe what you see as far as the 4th place finish. I think that the speed figures, you're also getting a little bit of increase there. But what I liked, similar to what you just saw on the 107, you have 108, 108. So I don't know that we've seen the best of vote no. Yes, of course, the class question is going to be here as well. 4th in the grade 2 is the best result the horse has had, and you're obviously stepping up against some very stiff competition. For me, it was the price and the possibility of another step forward for vote no. You're getting 12 to 1. You're probably going to get better than that. And if you go back and watch that replay of the last race, I thought that trouble, that horse actually probably could have won that race based on how that played out. What'd you like about vote no?
Yeah, he ran well, like you said. I feel like it was really the price for me. I feel like if I'm gonna use more than just the Applebee's, I have to take a little bit of a swing with pricing. I don't. I'm using a price in the next leg, so kind of swinging a little big here. But one of those horses that, like, sure, he could pop off. I think kind of just like El Razine. If for some reason like this horse opens up at 6 to 1. Like, I'm probably completely off. I want this horse at double digit odds. I don't want him at single digit odds. I just don't know if even on his best day he could be a horse like even Farbridge. but the Euros I think are just going to be very tough in here for him, especially with his running style where he wants to come from the back. I feel like the real way to beat these Euros is kind of getting out in front of them early. I know I'm hoping Kendrick's a little more aggressive on him and keeps him closer. But I feel like when these Euros like come over here, when they actually run their race, the way they lose is horses just on the front end get loose. I know Far Bridge did that. I think it was last year in this race. He got loose on there was no speed entered in that race, and Rosario just took him right to the front, and he went gate the wire. Well, like I feel like that's how you beat some of these more classy in horses is you send your horse and you hope that you just have enough left in the tank that they hold off, or you set a slow enough pace. So I'm not super, like you said, I'm not super confident in Vote No, but for the price, I thought he's a definitely worth adding, considering he seems like he is slowly improving.
The dam has some, although small sample size, 3 for 6 going turf routes with an ROI of plus 191. Kelsey Danner, past 3 years, turf, 4-year-olds and older, 18% with a positive ROI of 40%. You can get those odds really quickly right there on RaceLens. They'll put your rate up. We're going to take a quick break right here on Nested Nation. Stick tuned on Trust the Profits. We are teaming up with dgendesign.com. Use promo code DOUBLE for 10% off your order. You can see some really nice shirts there that they've drawn up for us. Always doubling down. They have a lot more shirts and gear, not just related to horse racing, for all of your gambling friends. So don't swing on over to dgen-design.com to see what they have and get 10% off by using the promo code DOUBLE. Vinny, some great partners we've teamed up with here, and they are using a $50 gift card if you jump in and play the Doubling Down Challenge right on the app. So be sure to jump in for that. We'll swing over to leg 2, race 11 for Saturday. It's an allowance race, 7 furlongs on the dirt. Vinny, where'd you land for your single?
Number 7 for Shug McGahee. Who could you ask from? I just think that like this horse last year looked very solid. Ran in a couple graded stakes races. Came up a little short last year. The last race before the break ran a very good third in my opinion in a solid race. I feel like this is a step down for this horse, and I don't think, in looking at this race, I didn't think there was anything that was Stakes caliber horse in here. So like if she's improved from 3 to 4, I think this horse is just by far and away the classiest horse in the field. I know, like, yes, she wasn't running to get she wasn't super competitive in those stakes races, but what, she finished 4th. She finished 4th in the Black Eyed Susan. She finished 4th in the Gazelle. But like those horses that she ran against, like Gunsong, Where's My Ring, at that point last year, those were both very good horses. She lost the Power Squeeze if you even go farther back. Like she's just she's been running against very good horses. And even that race, that Saratoga race last year with where Camera won, I remember that race. That was a very tough race. So that's just like I feel like she's just been running against better horses. So if she's improved at all from 3 to 4, I think she's just gonna be very tough.
Love it. My question mark was the layoff. You're getting a nice price. When you told me you were singling an 8 to 1, I said, ooh, that's enticing to see. Horse hasn't raced since August 22nd of last year. Had a vet scratch and a main track only scratch. Those are both in 2024. So it's been on the shelf. That was what scared me away. But I can't argue with the company that the horse has been keeping, which leads me to the horses who I'm going to pick and the company that they've been keeping, which is number 1, Ragtime from last week's test. Number 8, Next on stage, this is the horse that I'm going to take a shot with, Vinny. It is a 93 at this distance of 7 furlongs. Remember, we always talk about 7 furlongs being kind of a tricky race for horses, not necessarily your sprint or your route, right in the middle there. This horse finished second to Ragtime last time out, was on the front end when Ragtime was closing, and ran by this horse pretty easily. But I would say this horse hung really nicely in the stretch after getting past, held off the rest of the field that day, and at an allowance level of 110K. I put some red lines through the past performances there, Vinny, because this horse had actually been running quite a bit on the turf, and those efforts, you could just figure this horse has actually done better on the dirt. 80, 83 at 7 furlongs, 83, 74 with Ramiro Ramage in February, comes back and tries the turf 2 more times before that nice effort on July 4th Racing Festival weekend. I think they found success with this horse on the dirt, 9-2. Next on stage for me actually gets average class and average speed, 1 of 8 and 1 of 8 in both of those. I love when I see that in a race for using Equibase's numbers. When you see the horse that has 1 of 8, 1 of 8 for both of them, and is not like a big heavy favorite, I think that speaks well to what you might find in the field. She's the second place win percentage on Equibase at 19.4%, and you'll see the number 3 at 20.1%. Well, Vinny, the number 3 is the other horse that I'm going to use in here. It's the lightly raced Chad Brown and Flavian Pratt combo. This horse is 7-2. Maiden special weight wins 120K at Churchill Downs. Those horses have been just lighting it up at Saratoga. Comes back up in that exact same race with Ragtime, finishing third, 7 furlongs behind in that exact same race. I'm kind of keying in and hoping that race on July 5th at 7 furlongs, which is the same distance that they're going to be going today, is going to be key for the winner of this race. So I decided to go with the 3 and with the 8. Any interest or disagreements that you want to toss in with those two?
The 3 was interesting to me. I like that she's lightly raced. She's definitely definitely ran against a very good horse last time in Ragtime. My issue with the 8 was that I think there's more speed in here today. I think even if you go back to your graphic of the from wow, what is it?
RaceLens.
RaceLens.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, from RaceLens. Look at that early speed. You got 4, even on the just the visual. You got 4 across the track early. Like, you're 4 across the track. I don't think any of them are gonna live going down to hold off the rest of the field. And that was kind of why I liked the number 7, and I kind of like the number 3. I know, I think that those are the 3 would probably be the next horse on my ticket. I just think there's going to be a lot of speed. There's a lot of speed in here if there's no scratches. And I think this sets up perfectly for a horse that wants to sit like a pocket trip. So I think you're going to see I think you're going to see the horse coming from off the pace here winning. And I know that's got the 7 early as a little bit of early speed. I think the 7's going to sit off a little bit more than what that shows. So I mean, I think there's going to be 2 or 3 of them battling it out on the lead, and you're going to have horses on the front end that want to go, and then all of a sudden you're stuck with see if they can hold on. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But
the reason I wasn't concerned was this running line right here. The horse has shown the ability to run from off the pace. And when you use that visual that you just talked about, one thing that I like to pay attention to is the fact that, yes, the 8 is on the early end of this, but when you go and look at the middle, the 8 hasn't dropped back significantly like say...
Right.
Actually,
the 7
none of
drops
them
back
really,
off the pace.
That drops back a little bit, but it's not as extreme as sometimes you would see. The 3 is the one that is sitting back, and then at the middle call is forwardly placed. But that was the reason that I wasn't as necessarily scared about what the pace might set up for the 8, at least in that scenario.
Yeah, I just think with scratches and stuff, I think I could be definitely drawn into it. I'm hoping that there's more little more speed in here, than to let her kind of be like a length clear like she was in her last race where Ragtime ended up eventually catching her. So I went with one horse that I think is gonna sit a little bit off the pace, and then like I agree with you on the three. I think the three, if three takes a step forward, is gonna be very dangerous there. My logic to leaving off was that I just used too many horses in the first leg.
Well, hey, using 8 to 1 in the second leg, you can use 4 horses in the first leg. Our daily double ticket, I'm
Right,
going to
that
go
was
3-6 with the 3-8. It'll cost you $4. Vinny's going to go 1-3-6-7 with the 7, which will also cost you $4. For August 9th, 2025 at Saratoga, this is for race 10 and 11. You can do the daily double as we look to get out of here. Vinny, you go on the track this weekend?
yeah, I should at least be there on Saturday. I don't think I'm gonna be there this week, but I should be there Saturday.
Hopefully wearing your new double and down shirt.
Right. I got it on right. Got my double and down shirt on right now. Very cool. Very cool. It's excited to wear merch. So
we love it. It's pumping and pumped out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some of the D-Gen ones. I like some of those designs a lot.
They look very good. Good luck to everybody out there. If you're playing, put in the comments who you like for the daily double. Until next time, I'm Colin. He's Vinny. Good luck, everybody.